Okay, now for 10-4, we're going to show you how to solve this problem in two ways. And I want you to write both ways, okay? There you go. So as we look, again, I think the same thing is important. We want to know how many molecules, okay? And we have been given, again, 100 grams. So there's one circle of sodium hydroxide. So again, you do need to know the chemical formula, NaOH. Step 1, find the molar mass. Because we're starting in grams, ooh, I like this one. I'm gonna go back. Let's go back to the beginning. Come on, go back. I want my mnemonic device. I'm sure there's a faster way. Okay. All right. We're in grams. We want to go to numbers of things. You can see, according to this device, this map, that there's not a relationship between these two things. That's where the heart comes in. The mole is the heart of chemistry. So in order for us to solve the problem that we're working on right now, we've got to be able to convert from grams to moles by dividing using the molar mass. Once we're in moles, then we're going to multiply by Avogadro's number in order to get to numbers of things. All right, that is our path. Again, thinking about what we need to do. All right, so there we go. Step 0, know your formula. Find your molar mass. Again, this is expected. I need to see that you know how to write the formula. We need to see the molar mass calculated. Now we're ready to begin. So we start with what's given. 10 grams of NaOH. We're going to have our 40 grams of NaOH downstairs. This is our molar mass. We are dividing by the molar mass. And this is the answer, but we're not done. So this is a multi-step calculation. You keep going. So we're not going to do anything. We're not going to round that number. We're just going to let it go. That's our starting point for the next step. So now we have 0.25 moles, and we're going to multiply by Avogadro's number. So Avogadro's number says that 1 mole of sodium hydroxide is equal to 6.022 times 10 to the 23rd things. And things in this equation are molecules. So the number of things is molecules, and we get that answer, 1.5055 times 10 to the 23rd molecules of sodium hydroxide. Now take a look. We started with 3 sig figs. We have 4. That one doesn't really count because it was unrounded, and we end up with 3 significant figures. Okay? All right, now this is the second way. So I want you to write this way also. There's more than one way to do these problems. So the last one, we did this problem in 2 separate steps. That means we write it down, we grab our calculator, we do a calculation. We write it down, we grab our calculator, we do a calculation. In this one, we're going to do that all in one big step. So same thing, chemical formula, and you don't have to write this again. We already know the molar mass, but here we go. Instead of stopping, right? This is the same step as last time, but instead of stopping, if we stop right now, we're in moles of sodium hydroxide. That's not what we're looking for. We're looking for numbers of things. Can we keep going? Absolutely. We're going to write another division bar, and we're going to put our moles of sodium hydroxide downstairs and Avogadro's number upstairs. Make sure that you add these here. So in case you can't read it, it says step 2, convert grams of sodium hydroxide to moles of sodium hydroxide. Here, step 3, convert moles of sodium hydroxide to moles of sodium, to molecules of sodium hydroxide. Sorry, a little trouble reading. All right, so again, the exact same thing that we just did, but rather than stopping and getting an answer, and instead we're just going to write, and now we're going to take 10 times Avogadro's number divided by 40 to come up with our answer, and our answers will be exactly the same. Okay, so 2 ways of doing the same problem. And again, 10-4A means that in your work, you would refer in your notes back to this problem here in order to help you get through how to do that. Okay, 10-5. How many, all right, 10-5, how many chloride ions are in 17.0 grams of calcium chloride? So the same idea, think about what it is we're looking for. Chloride ions. I'm going to write it up here. How many chloride ions are equal to, and again, we're going to circle what's been given, are equal to 17 grams of calcium chloride. Now, this is very interesting. Again, we have to look at that information because we've been given 17 grams of calcium chloride, but we are looking for something that is just chloride by itself. Is there chloride in calcium chloride? Well, the obvious answer, yes, there is. So in this 17 grams, is some of that mass just chloride ion? Of course, the answer is yes. So that's what we're trying to solve. We have to figure out, of that 17 grams, how much of it is calcium chloride. So, as always, again, you have not been given the chemical formula, so you need to start there. Step 0, get that chemical formula. Step 1, find the molar mass, because we're in, what am I looking? We're in grams. And mass is not a way that we can equate numbers of things. So we have to get into that moles unit. So in order to do that, we are going to be using the molar mass. We're starting in grams. We're going to be dividing by the molar mass. Calculate the number of moles. So we're going to start with 17 grams of calcium chloride. And we are going to use the molar mass of calcium chloride to get 2 moles of calcium chloride. Now, take a look at all those numbers. No rounding here. This is a multi-step calculation, so we carry all of those numbers. We're now going to convert to molecules. So we have converted from grams to moles. Now we're going to go moles to numbers of things using Avogadro's number. So we're going to take that unrounded moles of calcium chloride, and we're going to take this to molecules. So in this number of moles of calcium chloride, how many molecules of CaCl2 is present? And there you go. We have a lot of molecules. Okay, again, no rounding just yet. Now, even though we're in numbers of things, we're in numbers of molecules, not chloride ions. But take a look at this formula, all right? If I have one molecule, I'm going to do it here. If I have one molecule of CaCl2, how many atoms of chloride ion is present? I hope that you can see 2 atoms, or I'm going to say 2 chloride atoms, or 2 chloride ions. That's it. All right, because they're not atoms, they're ions. Is everyone okay with that? You could also say that there's 1 calcium ion in 1 molecule. All right, so I just want you to understand that there is a relationship there in terms of numbers of things that's present in the chemical formula. So the last step is we're going to actually use that relationship. So starting with our molecules, and I'm going to say for every 1 molecule of calcium chloride, there are 2, again, we use the word atoms. Up there it says ions, so technically this should be ions of chloride, so let's just change that. This should be ions of chloride, or chloride ions. And we, notice, ladies and gentlemen, we have, we haven't got the answer yet. We're good. There we go. And now it's ions of chloride over here, okay? Now, that's an unrounded answer. Is that our final answer? Take a look back at where we started. Hopefully you understand that we should have 3 significant figures as we look through 3 and 5 and 4. So we should have 3. There you go. Okay. 10-5. Okay. So thank you for waiting patiently. So we're going to do the same problem that you just did, except this time we're going to do it in a 1-step problem. Rather than separating it into, 4 different steps, we are going to do it in one step, all right? So all the same information that you just used, you don't need to necessarily write this as all together. We have an A way and a B way of doing this problem. So here we go, starting with our 17 grams, going to moles. So now this is the step 2 that you wrote already, right? Going to moles. Now that we're in moles, we're going to use Avogadro's number to go to molecules. This is the step 3 portion of that. And then we are going to 1 molecule. Now that we're in molecules, now we're going to use 1 molecule is this many ions. So this would be step 4 of our last step. And then finally our answer, okay? Please write down both. Make sure you include the steps with your work. All right, 5